Today, Jimin cried in the arms of JUNGKOOK, his group mate and fellow comrade. The tears that fell on the military grounds of the 5th Division weren't just a sign of parting from the green uniform, but also a symbol of the emotional bond that formed in silence, behind the thick walls of harsh and uncompromising military life. The question is, what really made these two stars so immersed in such an intimate and touching moment? JUNGKOOK and Jimin have completed their 18-month mandatory military service, a period full of discipline, mental pressure, and personal sacrifice that's nearly unimaginable for those born and raised on the stages of global entertainment. Yet, who would have thought, behind their status as global superstars, they've grown into figures far more than just artists. According to internal sources from the 5th Division, their final day wasn't just about ending duties, but about a painful farewell from the military family they had quietly built. A video that went viral on social media shows Jimin standing frozen for a few seconds before finally being tightly embraced by JUNGKOOK. Tears streamed down his face, flowing freely in front of his comrades. JUNGKOOK, known as a strong and calm figure during training, also bowed his head, trying to hide his emotions. For fans, ARMY, this wasn't just an ordinary hug. It was concrete proof that military experience changed them not only physically, but also emotionally and spiritually. According to a report from an active duty soldier who requested anonymity, Jimin and JUNGKOOK were among the few who never complained, were always on time in following the strict schedule, and actively fostered solidarity within their unit. They brought incredible energy. At night, when fatigue hit everyone, Jimin would often sneak in a smile, while JUNGKOOK motivated us to keep going, he said. However, that moment of embrace revealed a different side. A human moment. A moment that seemed to break down the wall of strength they had built all this time. A big question arose in everyone's mind. Was this merely about parting after military service, or was there another emotional weight that made them so deeply moved? Big Hit Music released a short statement, expressing pride and appreciation for the dedication of both in completing their national duty. However, no further explanation was given regarding Jimin's tearful moment that touched millions of fans' hearts. This instead triggered more speculation among netizens and global fanbase communities. The hashtags #JiminCry and #WelcomeBackJungKook instantly trended on X, Twitter, with thousands of emotional and empathetic comments. In the midst of the euphoria surrounding their return, that emotional hug became a kind of turning point. Not only because it showed a deep bond between two longtime friends, but also because the world realized they were not just returning as artists. They returned as men who had passed a life test with perfect marks. In the military camp, they were not Jimin of BTS or JUNGKOOK the Golden Magne. They were ordinary soldiers, sleeping on hard beds, eating in long lines, and living days full of discipline without cameras or cheers. One interesting testimony came from one of the physical trainers in the 5th Division. He said that during training, JUNGKOOK showed extraordinary resilience in every physical session. He was always the first to arrive, the last to leave the training area. Never gave up, he said. Meanwhile, Jimin was known for his empathetic approach. He was even seen several times encouraging injured or despairing soldiers. He has a big heart, said another soldier, and recent months, the ARMY community has designed large-scale projects to welcome their return. From LED billboards in Seoul, New York, and Tokyo, to social campaigns raising donations for charitable causes in their name. All of that now feels even more meaningful after the emotional hug happened. ARMY wasn't just welcoming two idols. They were welcoming two human beings changed by time, experience, and sacrifice. What's next? Many fans hope there will be an announcement about a BTS comeback soon. However, sources from the Korean entertainment industry say that Big Hit Music will still allow both time to rest. They need time to readjust to public life. Their physical and mental health must be fully ready before facing the entertainment industry's busy schedule, said a senior journalist who has followed BTS since their debut. Even so, rumors about a solo album release Military documentary project and BTS reunion on the world stage have already begun to circulate in Korean and international media circles. Whatever it is, one thing is certain. ARMY will be ready to support them, just as they've faithfully waited for 18 months full of longing. JUNGKOOK and JIMIN have opened a new chapter in their lives. They are no longer merely symbols of the K-pop generation, but also reflections of youthful spirit willing to sacrifice for country, friendship, and personal growth. That hug captured on camera will always be remembered as the most honest moment in their journey, a moment that proves that behind grand stages and thousands of lights, there's still space for tears, warmth, and real love. Now, as they take off their uniforms for the last time, the world doesn't just see two returning artists. The world sees two young men who've been forged by life's hardships, yet still hold onto tenderness and solidarity in their hearts. If today's hug can make millions of fans around the world cry, just imagine how the world will react when they step back onto the stage, not as the teenagers they once were, but as real men who've carved an extraordinary story behind the silent shadows of the 5th division. This story is not over. It's just beginning. Jimin's tears in JUNGKOOK's arms, a moment that ignited the emotions of tens of millions of fans, a video that spread so quickly as if the world couldn't wait to witness the vulnerable side of BTS's two biggest stars. Yet behind all the emotion and euphoria, one pressing question must be asked together. Does what we see truly reflect reality? Or is it just a fragment of a narrative intentionally crafted to move waves of media and public attention? As the video began to circulate on TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube Shorts, we didn't just see visuals, but also chain reactions from ARMY. Thousands of comments, millions of views, and various theories started to emerge. But have we asked, who was the first to spread the video? Was the source credible? Who took the footage, and in what context? This is not about minimizing the emotional response that emerged, but about keeping our sanity in the face of increasingly fast and massive information. It's important to note that until now there has been no official statement from the South Korean military confirming that the moment happened during an official discharge event. Nor has Big Hit Music, the agency of BTS, provided any direct comment on the emotional hug, only issuing a general statement about the return of their two artists. Does this silence mean they want to maintain privacy? Or do they not want to validate something that may have never occurred? These questions matter, especially because viral content on social media often goes through editing processes, narrative framing, or even visual and audio manipulation. As consumers of information, we have a responsibility not just to feel, but also to verify. We need to examine whether the narrative being built aligns with on-the-ground facts or was formed to meet the public's emotional expectations. Many of the circulating videos also come from unverified accounts, with different watermarks, and often without citing a primary source. Shouldn't this be a red flag for us? When emotion leads perception, critical thinking often lags behind. So it's reasonable to ask, is this just one of many media strategies to sustain public euphoria over BTS's return? There's no denying that the emotional hug, if it truly happened, is a portrait of genuine human connection and worthy of appreciation. But if that moment was orchestrated, or at least exaggerated through editing and social media narratives, then we're facing a new form of emotional engineering, a communication strategy that touches audience emotions to keep information alive, talked about, and circulating in the digital consumption cycle. At this point, we also need to ask ourselves, why do we so easily trust every video clip or news piece that appears on our phone screens? Is it because we want to believe? Is it because our emotional needs are stronger than our commitment to truth? Or perhaps because the ever-accelerating world makes us lose the time to verify? This reflection is crucial, especially in the post-truth era, where the line between fact and opinion, between reality and perception, grows increasingly blurred. In the context of BTS, a global group with extraordinary influence, every member's move can become a tool of mass opinion production, whether it's purely for sharing updates, or for commercial and sensational interests. Imagine if that hug turned out to be part of a documentary content production to be released soon. Would we feel deceived? Or would we consider it valid as part of a narrative built to connect artists and fans? Does truth always have to be honest in